me start by asking you something. Have you ever felt completely overwhelmed? Heart racing, thoughts spiraling, unsure whether you're even capable of handling what's in front of you? Whether it's an exam that feels bigger than your preparation, a job that you don't feel ready for, a setback, a failure that makes you question your worth, or maybe a decision that could change the course of your life. Recognize that feeling? Yes? Now imagine that feeling with gunfire in the background and lives depending on you. That was me at 23 years age, the only doctor in a war zone. 27 years ago, I found myself under crossfire, literally. A young army doctor, freshly commissioned, the only woman officer in a remote battle zone of the Kargil War. One evening, barely 2 weeks into my first deployment, chaos arrived. Young soldiers who had been hale and hearty just a few days ago, being carried in, one after another. Blast injuries, splinter wounds, open skulls, broken bones, missing limbs. Some alive, some barely breathing, some already gone. And I was the only doctor there. No backup, no seniors to guide, no lab, blood bank or x-ray, no internet or Google to search for answers. Just me and all these young lives waiting for me to save them. The odds paralyzed me. In that moment, I wasn't an officer. I wasn't a doctor. I was just a terrified 23-year-old wishing I could run and hide. The sound of enemy fire echoed from the mountains outside. But inside, my mind kept screaming, I can't do this. Then, a young wounded soldier, bleeding and in immense pain, looked at me and said, Madam ji, मुझे जंग में वापस भेज दो. मैं दुश्मनों को मार के मरना चाहता हूं, ऐसे नहीं. He wanted to go back to the front lines. He was ready to die fighting for the country. His body was broken, but his spirit unshaken. Others echoed his sentiments. That moment hit me like lightning. On one hand, there were these young soldiers, bleeding, broken, battered, but still able to find courage under the fire. On the other hand, there was I, falling apart when they needed me most. That's when I realized fear is natural, but surrendering to it is a choice. That night, I chose not to surrender to my fears. One step at a time, I said to myself, just one. I took a deep breath, steadied my hands, started pushing IV lines, packed up the open wounds as best as I could, used bed sheets torn into strips when bandages ran out, improvised splints from cardboards and wooden sticks to stabilize broken bones. When injections ran out, fed crushed tablets that killed the pain a little. Every few minutes, I checked whether each soldier was still breathing. When fear overwhelmed me, I buried it in focusing on the next step I needed to do. Around 3 a.m., one of the helpers brought me chai, saying softly, "Madam ji, आप लगे रहो, हम आपके साथ हैं, we are with you." They could see I was exhausted, but their belief in me gave me the strength to keep going. By dawn, the helicopters arrived to take the wounded to the nearest hospital. Every soldier I treated that night survived. Not because I had all the answers, but because I had found the courage to keep going without them. That night taught me 3 unforgettable lessons that I carry to this day. The first, the real battlefield is within. You never know how strong you are until strength becomes your only option. We often think that resilience is built in calm, but actually it's born in chaos. Today, your battlefield may look different. Deadlines, expectations, heartbreaks, peer pressure, rejections, comparisons, uncertainty, or just the pressure to appear successful when you are feeling lost inside. Different battlefields, but the same chaos, same doubts, same fears. And the same truth applies. Your greatest weapon is not your talent, not your degree, not your experience. It is your calm mind. The second lesson that I learned that night is start where you are with what you have. That night, I didn't have all the resources. I had almost nothing, but I started anyway with what I knew, with what I had, and with what I could do under the circumstances. And that's all life demands from all of us. You don't need perfect conditions to start. You don't need confidence to begin, to act, to take that action. You build confidence by acting, one small step at a time. When life overwhelms you, you don't need to have it all figured out. Just start where you are. Use what you have and do what you can. And that's how order emerges from chaos. The third lesson that I learned that night was don't underestimate your own power. Everything changed for me that night. The same people who had dismissed me as too young, too inexperienced, started calling me a savior, a hero. But I still kept questioning myself. Did I really do enough? What if I had failed? It took me years to realize we all fight two wars, one on the outside and one within us. And the tougher one is within. The war against your self-doubts, your guilt, your countless fears. And it's that inner war that teaches you who you truly are. Looking back, I see that chaos wasn't my enemy. In fact, it was my greatest teacher. It stripped away my insecurity and forced me to grow. It taught me to respond, not react, to focus, not freeze, to trust myself when everything else was falling apart. And that changed everything for me. So, when you find yourself in a crossfire, and you will, whether it's a battlefield, a workplace, that examination hall, or a relationship, when that pressure starts overwhelming you, when that failure shakes your confidence, when that decision causes you to be uncertain, and when doubts scream louder than your dreams, just remember, you cannot stop the crossfire, but you can control your inner voice, your thoughts, your response. So the next time your heart starts racing and your mind spirals and everything seems like collapsing, just pause. Take a deep breath. Find your calm and take that next step. Because the war within is yours to fight and yours to win. And when you win that inner war, no battle outside can defeat you. Thank you.